Yo, what is up, everybody? This is the Ambitious Riders Podcast, and I have my guest right here, ArtayThaPartay. And yes, let's just get into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Artie. Artie.
I mean, just grew up in a military family pretty much. My pops was in the Air Force, so we traveled around the world. So I feel like that gave me a little bit of a different perspective of life than those who have not traveled much.
Good.
But
Let's do like a little 30 seconds. I should have got more into like an introduction of me and you and just like fucking, just like how old you are real quick, military family, resume.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually 41 now, and I was in a military family. Grew up, traveled, lived in Germany, lived in a few places in the U.S. Ended up here in Colorado. That's where my pops retired, so
Sweet.
that's why we're here. But
Awesome. Hell yeah. Sweet. This guy right here, if you can't see, he is wearing Cloud9. This guy is the owner of Cloud9 Hookah Lounge here in Pueblo, Colorado.
It's a great
Local.
place. It's a haven. For
Little,
smokers haven.
little safe haven, little chillax, little lax spot to hang out if you're just looking to, chill and play some pool and vibe and yeah. Anyways, not only that, he has some other adventures he has dived into as far as business, as far as little hustle going,
Gotta make moves where you can.
gotta make moves where you can. Subscribe. That's one thing. I forgot
Hell
to
yeah.
say that.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Yep. See,
Smash that
right
shit.
there. Boom. Subscribe, like, comment, share, show some love. This is it right here. We're going to get into it. So, number one, I appreciate you for being on. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
For sure,
Episode
appreciate the
10.
time.
So, is it ArtayThaPartay? Is that what you prefer to go by? Or like what? Your name's Arthur, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a name that was kind of just bestowed upon me from what I do in business. Because, owning a hookah bar, we throw a lot of events and parties. And I've always been a part of events working with my brother in like music. So, it just became ArtayThaPartay. It's easier. People remember it better when you introduce yourself,
It's very catchy.
Yeah, it has a good flow to it.
Do you prefer Arthur, like art, or like Artay?
I mean, art because it's simple.
Art.
Most people call me Art or Artie.
Artie.
Yeah, the ladies call me Artie.
If you're at a party, do you go by like Artie? They're like ArtayThaPartay.
No, most people just
Nothing
like,
like
yo,
that?
Artie. But yeah, most people just call me Art or Artie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How long have you been doing like you said music?
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like more of a support for my brother when he was doing his thing. He's older than me. So it was like I was kind of like the sidekick, always helping out with the merch and promotion marketing and, just helping my bro because it's fam. And then I ended up becoming a value. So it was like I stuck around and helped build up the business side and like, help tour and be a hype man and perform and stuff like that. So it
Okay.
kind of pulled me into the game. And then, just being around a brother that raps, obviously I would rap too. And so I got guest featured on a couple mixtapes. Then the fans who liked the music were like, hey, when are you going to do an album and shit? So I was like, I'll do an album, if that's what the fans want. Because I've always been kind of business minded. So it's kind of like supply and demand. If people want something, you can provide it, then you do. And that's kind of how I got into the music side of things.
Have you seen like some money with that side?
Oh yeah, I mean, we were hustling. We would always bring merch to every show we did. We'd sell shirts, bandanas, CDs
Like as
back
far
then.
as like when you would rap, like have you sold any like albums or merchandise for?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like the first album I dropped, I was selling them myself and sold like 1,000, a couple thousand. Had a few, I get good plays and listen still on that old album, but it's so old. It's like it's not really relevant now. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a big income. Every artist out there knows when you're rapping and grinding, there's not a lot of pay involved all the time. You gotta like hustle and make that money.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
How old is your so how much older is your big brother?
he's almost 2 years older than me.
Oh, so like
So,
42?
Yeah,
Not that much older.
43. Yeah, something
Okay.
like that.
So like when you were like what specifically did you do? So you did like some management within like his little business going on. And you said you're a hype man for him, so like explain a little bit about that. What as a hype man, what did you do, and what did you do to manage his little operation?
Well, I would go like, I'd be the first one on stage to like introduce the, Black Peas coming up and like just talk a little bit about the music, get the crowd hype, things like that. And then perform with my brother to like, spit some of the bars where he needs to take a breath and just like, get the crowd involved. And like we had a great chemistry performing. So it always made our performance a little bit higher vibration, and more impactful. So that's what I would do as a hype man. And then, I would always be selling merch and like helping with the marketing and promoting and like even booking shows. Like when I was going to college in Fort Collins at CSU, shout out to the Rammies, by the way.
Shout out, Rams. CSU.
At the Aggie Theater, my brother booked a show there and I was the sole promoter and we sold it out, for like, it was like a 750 person capacity. But because I went to school there, it was easy to get all the promo out and like, stuff like that. So I was always doing things like that to help them build up the label and just to be a support on the tours and like also be like security, because the funny story is just when we used to tour with Immortal Technique. Shout out to my brother Immortal Technique too. He's always been putting it down for the
Shout
revolutionary
out Immortal
mind.
Technique. I've heard I like him. I've heard a few of his songs. I'm not gonna say I know them.
Yeah, his shit is raw.
But there's is it just one person?
Yeah, he's a one man. But
what race is he?
He's I don't want to say it wrong, man. Peruvian.
Oh, okay.
And he's mixed though, so he's I think he's that and Dominican, but I'm not 100% sure.
And it was more like a rap. Was there ever like it was some hardcore stuff though?
Yeah, it's very enlightening music, very straight up truth, revealing things that are corrupt and obviously hardcore against that kind of shit. But we were on tour with him in the South in like the more hood areas, and I got arrested on tour for having a pistol on me, and that got thrown out because it was all bullshit, just a cop trying to harass pretty much. But he saw it, he was there with us, we were traveling to go take him to the airport, and that happened, and he remembered that, probably to this day, because we were so down to ride for the revolutionary cause, being so young and being so like passionate about that kind of thing, wanting change, so that kind of stuff happened. And there's so many different things that happen in the music. When you're in music, there's so many different opportunities and people that come into your your sphere that it's kind of mind-blowing. Like people, when we were kids, we'd watch them on TV, like when MTV was popping, and then we're doing shows opening up for some of the people that we used to look up to, as idols. So yeah, it was a good time. Like it kind of helped just by being supportive and wanting to give support. It kind of led me into a path of music that showed me a whole world that I wouldn't have been able, opened up to.
Yeah,
it was really,
I see what you're saying. So how does that help you with your whole operation you got going on now? How did that help you like managing someone else's? Help you manage your own?
It helped me with like, learning how to network and how to talk to people. Like talking to the managers of the artists. That's who I would always be around when we're at the venue before the show.
How big were some of the artists?
So anywhere from like, we opened up for like the Wu-Tang Clan a lot, Tech-9, T.I., people like even Mac Miller back in the day when he was performing like the Marquee Theater in Denver. We toured with like the Funk Volume 2012 tour through all of Colorado, so it was like Hobson and people like that, Immortal Technique, obviously, a lot of different artists that are mainly a lot of underground heads, but like we've opened for like Snoop Dogg, some of the bigger icons and stuff like that too. So, anywhere from shows from like 5,000 people were probably the bigger end shows to like 500 people for like the smaller average shows.
Gotcha. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was great. Sweet. It was cool to see that side, being backstage, seeing the green rooms, how the artists are in real life and stuff. It's kind of cool to see that different side of life you don't just normally see being a fan going to the show.
So working with them, did you ever shoot like music videos with them and stuff like that?
Yeah, but again, most of it was focused on my brother. He was the main artist we were pushing and stuff. So we had, he's in more videos, obviously, but I was in some of his.
Why is he like the more main artist? Does he like have a better flow, or like is there like a difference in work ethic? Or?
I think it's because when he was so young, he determined he was going to go for it with rap, like 100%. He's like, fuck everything. Like, he quit his job and was like, I'm going to battle rap. And he went undefeated for years, and then he's putting out albums and doing shows. And it's like when someone's determined like that, most of the people around him are more like a supporting cast. So it wasn't about me trying to shine or get my career going. That was asked of me as I was helping my brother. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
kind of like, I never really thought of it like trying to compete with my bros. Like anything I do helps support the business. If I drop a cool album or a mixtape and it supports the Brass Knuckle Entertainment label and gets it to expand, cool, you know, it helps. So it wasn't like picking an artist to push or not. It was like, it was always about pushing Black P and helping, you know, and the Brass Knuckle Gang Entertainment stuff. And that was just kind of the main goal.
Oh, okay.
So
I
it
see.
just automatically was focused on it.
Gotcha. What were the years for this? When was the timeline looking like?
This was like the 2000s.
2000s to what year? Did you like stop that and then open up your own kind of shop, or did you like go to school after like you worked with your brother?
Well, I was going to school while I worked with him.
Oh, okay.
So
What for?
sometimes we'd be flying to Cali to do a short tour, and I'd be studying for finals and shit.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah,
What
like on
for?
the plane. For,
On a plane?
Yeah, like what do you mean for like what I studied?
Yeah,
in school?
what'd you study?
I graduated with an economics degree. I mostly studied business, but the last 2 years or 3 years when I went to Fort Collins, I lost some credit, so I ended up finishing with an econ degree. And I think that was a dope blessing because it showed me a lot more things that I could use in real life as an entrepreneur than going to a business school, and just learning how to be better at a position in someone else's company is what mostly I felt like they were teaching me to be.
Okay.
So
Did you kind of learn a thing or two from school, or like what was your opinion as far as like going to school for those subjects?
I mean, you don't really need to go to college for business if you want to be an entrepreneur and like run businesses, invest. You know, you can see it all the time. There's a ton of people on TikTok or YouTube that are like, yo, I do this and this and this. I'm in real estate, and they didn't go to college. You know, so it doesn't necessarily be needed if you're going to be like an engineer or a doctor and you need the specific training to get to get that type of degree to work to do your job. Yeah, that's fine. But if not, you really got to know why you're going to school to pay that much money to go to college, because it just ends up being a burden and a debt, and most people are not getting that kind of income to pay that debt.
I see.
It's kind of like a trap for a lot of people.
I gotcha.
So it can benefit, but it can also be harmful. That's my take on college. But the best things I learned was how to network with people. Like I threw a lot of parties at my senior and junior year at my own house. And so that's kind of what led into me opening like a hookah bar that's based on more like parties and things that I was already good at doing. So it just kind of aligned up.
I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
what year was it when you broke, apart from your brother and kind of started doing your own thing?
It was probably around like 2008. And then I only would help here and there with some of the stuff with the events that he was doing, because he got more into booking big events like he does now. He books huge events and like big artists and stuff because he's, built up his system. But yeah, back then it was just, I kind of split off and got the franchise for 40 Thieves Hookah Lounge through a friend I went to high school with. And then when I started throwing the 420 parties during, the legalization of cannabis in Colorado for recreation, I had to part ways with the franchise because they didn't want to be involved with any of that whole side of the industry. So then I was like independent at that point. But it was just kind of like a natural separation. Also, I was getting older to where I needed to take my own path in life. And that's kind of what happened.
Okay. Yeah.
I had to set up something for my future because my brother's good. Like he's set up pretty well and well established, and he's going hard and doing his thing still. So it's like I had 2 daughters, and that kind of helped me shift my mindset too, to where I got to create a future for them too, so things like that kind of shift your focus,
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing major other than that.
So you own Cloud9.
Yeah.
What else? Like what other streams of income do you have besides Cloud9?
I work with my buddy Derek Matthews. If y'all want to check him out, also on Instagram. I kind of partner with him. Yeah, Derek Matthews. He raps, he's a producer, he makes beats, he can mix master, he runs and owns Frontier Sound Studio in Springs, which I'm a part of.
Awesome.
I'm kind of like a partner of it. And then he's also the head of the Back to the People Festival, and I'm his co-partner on that. So me and him throw the Back to the People Festival every year in the summer, which is the biggest independent hip-hop festival in Colorado. Last year we did 1,500 people, and this is when we had a year off from COVID. So that was a good bounce back. And then this year we're hoping to get about 2,000 or more. Yeah, I appreciate it. Much love.
Sweet. Shout out to Derek.
Yeah, shout out.
Hell yeah, he's a producer then.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
producer, artist.
Hell yeah, awesome. Continue on.
Yeah.
So yeah, what other streams of income? But so Derek.
Well, yeah, the studio, the festivals. So we book like artist showcases. We have one January 28th actually in Springs at Lulu's in Manitou. So that's going to be like a smaller local artist showcase.
Are you rapping on stage with
I'm
him?
not. I'm just going to be on the business administrative side of it. Like I help with some of the design of the flyers and stuff like that too,
Cool.
like all
Okay.
the Photoshop
Sweet.
shit.
Oh, sweet. You can do shit
So,
like that?
yeah, I'm not an expert, but I can get shit done. You know what I'm saying? When
On
it comes
Photoshop?
to like, yeah,
Nice. Like you can make some sick old flyers and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen
posters, flyers.
Yeah. You obviously probably made the design and like all the fucking shit on your Facebook page.
Yeah, most of it, except for like this logo was from my homie Jarrell Inc. We were friends back in the day when we first started Cloud9, and he made this logo. But
Are you guys friends anymore?
not really. We parted ways when
Oh.
me and my business partner parted ways
Oh,
because he
goodness.
was kind of friends with her first. So
Oh, okay. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
yeah, I mean actually because it's important for people who do want to be entrepreneurs. You want to make sure you're taking your time with who you pick as a business partner. There's certain things that have to match up and align for you to actually be successful with them. Otherwise, they're going to be like a hindrance and resistance to your success. And that's what happened. I found with a few of my business partners in the past that really drove that into my mind. Like I don't take on partners unless I know we have the same values and similar morals, like, and a similar drive and commitment to what we're doing. Because that's lacking too. People aren't committed or dedicated to something. They'll sometimes start something and just quit. And I mean, it's cool to try things, but you need to figure out like what your truest passion and desires are, and then go for that. And that's the kind of partners that I will work with. Just simply because there's not a lot of people on this earth like that.
So what happened with you and your partner? Did you guys just have different point of views?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, man. It was just like a falling out kind of thing. I don't know, I felt like I was more dedicated and focused and wanting to do a business, even the hard aspects of it. And I felt like my partner was not. And when it came to communication and like that broke down, and you can't go forward when it breaks down because it kind of just stops everything when you have when you have two people that make the one decision and one of them's not participating or whatever or resistant, it just makes it to where you can't do anything. And at that point, I was like, we're either going to have to shut this business down or I'm going to have to do something to keep it going forward.
Did you guys open it up together?
Yeah,
What in 2008?
in 2011.
What did you have to do to kind of do your own thing? Did you guys like have the same name on the LLC?
Yeah, we did like a basic LLC name and then doing business as Cloud9, so we didn't have to change like the business name or anything.
So you didn't have to do anything major as far as like taking her out of like your business?
No, not
business
really.
plan?
It was just paperwork on the business side pretty much.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. I can relate to that a little bit. As far I don't own a business, obviously. Well,
This
like,
is a business, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know what you're saying. Man, I take little wins. I'm really hard on myself. Like, I don't think, like, even... I'm young, man. I'm 20. I don't think, like, the littlest things
No, I'm the same. I
Are-
was the same way, bro, when I was around that 20s.
are good enough, I guess. Like, I don't feel, like, satisfied or, like, but I'm doing a lot, which is, I mean, it's good, but I feel like there can be more structure and discipline in it. But over time, too, over time, I always keep thinking that, too. Over time, it just, even though, like, time is kind of like a weird game or a weird factor, it's a weird,
It's a perception. It's not
it's
even
a
real.
weird point of view.
Yeah.
There's still time, but the little wins, I gotta take the little wins and just be okay with those little wins, like this, I've done something. It is a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it is
You've
a
produced
business.
content. Like, that's something I'm having trouble with. Like, what content is valuable that I can bring to the table for, like, my YouTube channel and for, like, my Instagram? And it's like, that is a hard thing to determine because there's so much content out there. Everybody's doing everything. But I mean, that's what you got to do. Like, the small things that you offer are valuable. Even I learned that with the Cloud9 business. Like, it doesn't make me rich, but I know the value I bring to people's lives. I've been here for 11 years in Pueblo, and I've watched people grow and I've watched people change, and I've watched my influence help them in life. That to me is more powerful than if I would made $1 million off the place or sold it for $500,000. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's more valuable to me. But most people, it's just like, I know you have to, like the idea of abundance, you should have wealth and be satisfied and stuff in all aspects of your life. So I agree with that too. But it's like some people I know probably would not choose to continue in the business that I have, considering the return that it makes financially. So I get creative and use it in other ways. And this year I'm ramping up to make it more valuable. Like even the last couple nights, it's already happening just from putting the intent for this year. And we had some late night after parties till like 4 a.m. that we haven't done ever for the last 2 nights in a row. And it's like things are starting to open and develop. And that's a thing, like you got to put your intent on what you want and allow time for the universe to let it unfold and grow while you're pushing for it, you know, and working towards it.
Yeah.
And those little wins all add up. It's momentum. So yeah, keep taking those. And like people try to tell me when I was around your age, don't be so hard on yourself. But I always was still. And I didn't realize how important it is to really not be hard on yourself. You should treat yourself the best because no one else is going to keep, you know, take care of you or look out for you, especially being a man. Like in this world, we have to suffer in silence and we just to keep moving. People don't care about how we feel on a bigger scale. So it's like learning that and knowing that as a man, it helped me change my focus. Like, yo, just keep going hard, keep focusing on what you want. And then as you're successful, you can be a blessing to people from a position of power instead of a position of weakness where you have to give, not in a position where you do not have to give, you know, and that just opens up a better life. I feel like more opportunities, more experiences, more cool interactions in your human body, you know, while you have it. And that's what's important, like the here and now moment, not like the future or the past. Most people are in fear of the future or holding on to some anger from their past. And if you're just stuck in fear and anger, you can't really be successful.
I know what you're saying. Dude, that was a great explanation. Thank you for that. Holy shit. You
word.
just put, like fucking my mind real quick. Little lesson. So
yeah, man. Yeah, we gotta build with each other, man. That's why we're here.
That's true. Yeah, that's why I love about this shit, man. So, you're working with a producer, Derek, up in Springs, and you got Cloud9. We have talked before, and you said you do like. How involved are you with like cryptocurrency?
Oh, I'm deep in the game, man. I'm an avid student of
or
it.
like with like stock too? Is that?
Yeah, I only do crypto now. I used to be in stocks when I was in my 20s. Like early 20s, but I just felt like I didn't really have what it took to do it. I didn't understand it as well as I understand, like if I like in crypto, for example, it's easier, I feel like, when you're trading and the way it works, you know, with a 4-year bull run cycle that on average it happens. There's some different things going on than than with trading stocks. But I don't knock stocks at all. Stocks are great. People who are great in stocks, it's very similar when you're doing your charts and looking at, you know, technical analysis. It's all very similar tools we're using. So it's just kind of, what do you prefer? You know, what is your risk, you know, tolerance? You know, how much money are you working with? What time frames are you working with? And I choose crypto just because of some things like this is digital currency. So it's like the future asset of the world for finances. And if you can own a piece of that, you know, a lot of people say it's similar to owning a piece of the internet before it was unleashed on the world. And you couldn't buy a part of the internet. It was not something you could invest in. You can invest in cryptocurrency though. And so looking at how like the world is making all these, like the World Economic Forum and all these people, the IMF and these big banks, and the people who control all the money, they're pretty much trying to find a way, from what I see, to influence, manipulate, and control crypto, even though they can't. So they're finding ways to create these CBDCs that can interact with crypto. And I think they're just going to try to, you know, program people with all this mass marketing to use CBDCs, which are centralized and controlled by the Fed still, versus cryptocurrency. They're just a digital currency that, like, the United States government have the US dollar. It's a CBDC for the USD, for the yen, for whoever. The UK will have their own pound. And that will allow them to interact with cryptocurrencies and get in the game. But they're going to offer it as like your currency to use as instead of the US dollar.
In the next like 5 years, you think, or when?
I mean, I can't say the time frame, but I definitely can say their speed is accelerating in their plans. You can see the acceleration. And some of these major events that have happened, like the FTX crash and the scandal with Sam Bankman-Fried, those things have really sped up and escalated the speed at which the government and the SEC and all the major players who deal with finances are trying to regulate and push for regulation and establish themselves. So you can kind of see them and their momentum. It's definitely picking up. So
okay, I see. How do you do your research on what's been going on?
I mean, to a degree, what I can, I kind of follow some people that can give you news really quickly because I have such a busy life. I don't really get time to sit and read articles that much. But if all of the people I follow will bring up articles, and then I'll look at that and reference it. So I have, 10 minutes to get this done instead of an hour, like to watch their video and then do an hour of research. I always play the videos at like 1.5 times the speed on YouTube so I can get through the information and then go look up more details. But yeah, I mean, you can see it like the stuff that's going on, even with like that FTX company. It's like deep into the government. Even it deals with both parties, Republican and Democrat. Both have money that came from that scandal. They have to return it, and things like that are going on. So I mean, they're creating things to where they're going to push it on to the public eventually. And
how does your economics, like your background with your education, help you with like that financial analysis and what's going on with the economy?
I mean, that's probably why I'm into it at all.
Much, yeah.
Yeah, or aware of it because, the way crypto works and money in general, it's, it works across the whole world. So you're looking at it macro and micro scale, like a big scale, small scale. So it's kind of like interesting to me how it works and how much of an influence it has on our lives, on our day-to-day human experience. Something that is a physical, tangible, like it's not even a tangible object anymore. It's literally an idea and we can only view it on screens on our phones, but it has so much power and control over humans. That's what interests me about some of the finances. Yeah.
Or finances. Which
in
one has
economics.
power? Economics? How so? How much power does it have? What do you mean by that? What do you say?
Well, I mean to this point that Vladimir Putin is threatening war if you try to mess with their finances or support someone against them. Simple as that. Like that could cause the whole world to end. That's how powerful it is. Those decisions. It could come to that, or it could be as simple as the prices of goods that we need to survive and operate being at a reasonable, affordable value. It could be as simple as that. So it just depends, like who's controlling it, will determine a lot of times what our human experience is going to be like. And they're far away somewhere we don't ever going to meet or see them.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's
like the quality of our life. You know what I mean? They can determine that by the decisions they're making, the tools they have that are financial instruments and tools. So that's what interests me about it, because the more we learn how to use those same tools, the more we can work towards being freed from the financial system and have financial freedom. And to me, that will allow you to have more true spiritual, mental, and physical freedom. Because a lot of times when we don't feel well physically or mentally or spiritually, a lot of times it's because we're broke and we don't have abundance in our life.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. Because you're broke. Broke ass bitch.
Broke ass bitch. She ain't got no crypto in her pocket. I don't even
ain't
want
got
her.
no crypto. I don't want you. Don't you come up into my club. Keep that shit out of here.
No doubt.
I see what you're saying. That's it's a crazy concept. Power is crazy. Economics. I like economics. I like finances. I like accounting to a degree, because you got to know a little bit of accounting, or like just finances in general, to kind of keep your shit in straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least in a going continuous cycle. So I like those topics. How much research are you doing, or like homework, as far as like crypto and like business plans for Cloud9? How much time are you putting into all this stuff?
I mean,
a week?
I'd have to say it's just an infinite amount of time. Like before I came here, even I was on my laptop designing some flyers for the Super Bowl party we're gonna have. And
when's the Super Bowl again?
I think it's February 12th.
Okay. Do you know who's competing it, or do we
I don't think
know?
they know yet. So
They're
when they
still
find out,
playing
I'm gonna put the little helmets of who's fighting, who's banging
sweet.
on.
Is that Bills game? Like, did that kind of fucking fuck shit up a little bit with the NFL?
I don't know too much, man. I don't think it really did. I think it's just a freak accident thing. I don't know what's going to come out of it. But I mean, I've talked with a few friends about it. I just haven't followed up on that one too much. It's just a weird thing to see that happen.
He's doing well.
He's recovering.
Yeah, he's breathing on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He's like doing okay. No neurological deficiencies or anything like that. He's just like breathing, like heart conditions and stuff like that. But I mean, he's still recovering. You know, God bless DeMar for the Bills.
Yeah, prayers up to you.
Just Bills. I hope you guys are doing. Yeah, prayers up to you guys.
Yeah. Because that's weird. I mean, you know how it is with all the concussions these guys get playing.
Do you think he'll ever be able to play football again?
I mean, I would hope he wouldn't.
You would hope, yeah.
But I mean, I know for his family, he probably feels like he needs to. You know what I'm saying? Because they have that mentality.
Who won the game, huh? You tell me.
Yeah, right. No, they're relentless. They don't quit. Like they have that champion mentality just to get to where they were at in the NFL. So it's like you already know what they're probably thinking. But hopefully it's hopefully he just recovers and gets to enjoy life because he could have lost his life that day. I bet you he
can retire by now. You know, like he's got some money in his pocket. He can probably retire his
mom. I bet if he did a GoFundMe, that it would be Mills.
Oh, jeez, dude.
I'd throw some bread on that. Like if you're gonna retire, homie, here's some bread on that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, homie. DeMar, exactly. Yeah. Seriously, why not? You know, he'd be set for life, retirement right there. But yeah, they're relentless. I like football. Well, I don't like football. I like their mindset. That's a real good attitude, I guess. But still, hey man, God bless DeMar.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, any other hustles outside of crypto? And
I can't talk about them. No,
can't talk about him. You wearing a wire?
Hell no. This is the only wire in here.
This is the only wire in here. Can't talk about him. Yeah. You doing stuff? You doing stuff under the table, huh? Can't put him on the books, can you?
Nah, okay. Everything I do is legit because it's like the value. What I found, even in times when I was younger and I was exposed to doing like stuff that would be technically, not legit, like dirty money. I just realized the value of clean money. If you just educate yourself and, build yourself up and your self-confidence to receive what you want in life, you don't really have to do anything messed up. Mm-hmm. You might not feel content because someone else appears to have more than you, but that doesn't mean they have more than you really in life, like with your life experience and the people and the experience you're having in life. Mm-hmm. They just have physical objects and more money than you.
Mm-hmm. What's been your biggest passion, and which one has been like the most fun for you so far with your hustles?
I mean, I would say the most fun I've had is with music. Obviously, it's just a rare thing to be a part of when you're a performer and an artist. I feel like the people in the music industry that I know, they give me a lot of respect and love because of what I've done in the music industry. And to me, I was like, I never knew that would be a part of my life. Mm-hmm. I was just going hard, making music, trying to push a business too with my brother. But making music, it's such a creative process. It's enjoyable, just like doing this podcast. Your thoughts and ideas, you have a way to express them. And a lot of people don't have a way to express their ideas. So, they end up doing fucked up shit, or going into depression or stuff that is not, not what you want to experience as a human, or should be. So it's kind of cool. It's like, it's something I became good at and I enjoy to the point that I still make and record music to this day. And it's not, but you don't see me ever introducing myself as a rapper or artist. And most people don't even know I make music that are around me, Yeah. So, but it's something I love to do still. And so a lot of younger guys that I'm homies with or good friends with now, they'll like ask me to feature on their music and stuff. And I know it helps make their songs better. And it also helps influence them to become better artists, because it kind of provides a little competition for someone who's already good at making music. So I feel like I'm helping still influence the music game here, especially with doing this bigger festival with my homie Derek, and just the different opportunities. Like I said, being on a song with Stevie Stone, I didn't situate that. That came to me. My buddy asked me to get on the song. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's always been something where people have always asked me to get involved with music. Yeah. And I haven't really had to do anything. But I really love making music and writing songs and helping other people create their music too. Like that's a part of what I do. And big shout out to my boy Ian Knox, just because he's one of my producers that's super talented in Colorado. He's like an amazing Ian Knox. EnoxBeats.com, I think is his website, but he's a great producer, man. He's made my music like 1,000 times better every time he touches it with the mixing and mastering.
Good.
And
Good.
like, just
It takes time,
yeah.
years of experience to get that good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that editing and just being on point with that.
Oh yeah.
There's no other.
Yeah, you got to put the time in for
Got to
sure.
put the time and work. You know what I'm saying? You don't just get good by doing it overnight. You got to stay consistent with all your other everything you want to get good at. You know what I'm saying? That's what's been hard for me lately, man. Is just kind of finding the balance with life, work, the podcast, my other interests, and it's like, oh man,
Right.
I feel like I'm in a corner right now, like I'm boxing Mike Tyson. We're just going 1-2 Mayweather right now, and
just on the duck and rolls.
seriously,
rolling.
just trying to slip everything real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that, man. But I mean, you're gonna feel like that as an entrepreneur, and it's like getting comfortable with that feeling of like I feel that right now because I have so much stuff that I know is on my whiteboard, and I'm like I know I have to get so many things done in a certain time frame. But that's good because it keeps you motivated. I think it gives you more of that sweetness of life where you feel more alive. Because when you're not doing shit, you're just like start getting sad and depressed. Like life sucks, and like go do stuff. Like every day, wake up like you're a GTA 5 character. Choose the clothes you're gonna wear, groom yourself how you want to be, and go out in the world and interact how you want without doing all the crazy shit, obviously, that's in the game. But, it's similar to that. You have as much freedom as that to go out and, in this third dimension physical world and
You're right.
experience what you
It's
want.
a good point of view because it kind of does feel like that sometimes, like you just walk outside and it's like, damn, like you can really do anything, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a good feeling,
Yeah,
good feeling.
and some people just feel trapped by the decisions they made, which means like if we hate our job and our lifestyle, we chose all those things. We chose where we live, we chose the job we took, we chose how much education we wanted to get. We can educate ourselves by reading or just opening our phone every single day. Every day I'm watching a YouTube video on crypto, a lot of them on crypto, how to do things on Photoshop or how to edit things in Final Cut Pro or things that I need to know and learn. And it's like I'm still educating myself on it. And I've been through college, I've been through, all kinds of things, but I still read. I've read hundreds of books, and it's like the more you just get the information you want, the more tools you have to create in this dimension is how I see it. So it's like go get the tools you want to allow you to create what you're trying to experience.
Yeah. Do you use like Apple products?
Yeah, mostly.
You said Final Cut, so do you use Final Cut instead of Premiere?
Yeah, because I have a MacBook Pro, so it's like an iPhone. I mean, I still have Android stuff too, but when it comes to digital like creation or like audio music, I use Apple.
Is that like the kind of top name for when it goes to editing or like kind of being like smooth? You know what I'm saying? I've heard a lot of people recommend Apple and all that, but I mean, I use Premiere and Adobe products.
Yeah,
but
you
as
can
far
get
as
the
like
same
computer.
effect. Yeah, it kind of, to me, I think it's just which one is your brain more comfortable with using. And that's kind of, I don't know if that's how people choose, but there's like people who are strictly, Microsoft or Android, and there's people who are just strictly iPhone, like Apple products. But I think, a lot of that can come from marketing, especially because Apple's so good at marketing. But I mean, it comes down to like how your mind works too. I think when you're interacting with technology, some things are going to be absorbed a little easier than others just because of how the person's mind works.
Gotcha. So, how are you like taking care of yourself pretty well with your hustles? I mean, like, are they paying your bills and like, you're able to like not have to? I mean, you work in Springs kind of part time, but that's like doing something you like. You know what I'm saying? So, like, are you able to pay your bills with what you are doing right now?
Yeah, definitely staying on top of the bills, and but also I always consistently investing in crypto, especially on these big dips, and like we're in a winter bear market right now.
Is that like been a big part of your income?
Yeah, I mean I've made good money in crypto. It's just you're just investing. Like my strategy right now is pretty much I'm stacking my bags before the next any kind of bullish activity or the next bull run when the halving happens.
What kind of bags are we talking about?
Like which coins?
Like the bags, like how how many shekels are we talking about?
I mean, some are like $10,000 worth of crypto,
Hell
like
yeah.
a single
And you're
one.
just like stacking that up until for the next like big thing to happen.
Yeah, pretty much just 500 here, 1,000 there at a time. Just buying different specific coins that some I've been holding for 3 years, some I've been holding for 6 months. It just depends like what the project is and what it's going to be used for. So the big ones I'm really into is like XRP, XLM, and XDC, because the word is that they're going to be utilized by the governments and the World Economic Forum to establish the connection with the CBDCs and the whole ecosystem to allow crypto to be utilized, by the world as a future, basically a future form of payment. And they would need the tools that XRP has built and XLM and XDC to achieve that. And there's not any other cryptos really that can do what they're doing or that are in bed with the people that can decide what they're going to use. So I look at a lot of that too. And economics is why I can see some of those things, because it's like I've been watching the World Economic Forum because I've already been aware of them. And some people don't even know that they exist and have meetings every year and frequently deciding what's going to happen with the finances of the earth. So yeah, I've done good in there, man. Like I've made some money on some coins. A lot of people have probably made some money on too, like Polkadot, Cardano, before they all crashed, in the bear market, and a few others. Of course, the main ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are like the main core of what a lot of people invest in, and then buy into other things from there sometimes. So there's a lot of other things I work with too, but I'm just always studying the charts, watching what's going on, trying to be aware of what news is going on, because that influences the markets as well, with the wars and the different things. Different countries that are like third world countries are taking on Bitcoin as like actual fiat currency that can be used legally as legal tender, so those things are showing you the momentum of crypto and how the technology of blockchain and crypto are changing the world financially to make it easier for us to basically get bread, get money and interact and exchange money. So yeah, I study all the time, man. It's just like I'm a constant student. I'm like a monk. I don't really do much other than study for what I'm doing and focus on what I'm trying to build, But I mean, that's what I found to have the most value in life. Like when you say taking care of yourself, I also work out every day. I eat pretty much pescatarian, which means a vegetarian, but I also eat fish, so I do those things because of what I've learned about taking care of yourself and getting your vibration to the point where you can actually attract and receive what you're asking for. Because if you're not at the vibration of, a BMW, you're not going to get a BMW in your life. If you're not in the state of being where you're ready to receive, you're not going to get a house, But when we build the confidence in ourselves to be ready to receive, I found that was a big blocking thing for me. I didn't feel worthy enough because I was too hard on myself. Like you said, you are too. That's what I'm saying. We just got to not be hard on ourselves and be ready to receive, because all the gifts and everything is already here in this moment. It's not in the future or in the past. That doesn't exist. It's right here, right now. It's just, we got to build our vibration to be able to attract it into our life and receive it. So
I like that point of view. That's awesome. When you were starting to invest into crypto, what was it, your 9 to 5 money that was kind of your investment you would put
like
into
the startup
it?
capital?
Yeah, like how you startup cap. Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is I only started investing in crypto in 2019, and I was lucky because I wasn't even aware that there was a bull run that year for the halving. Like the Bitcoin mining rate was cut in half again, and it does that every 4 years. So I started investing right at the beginning of a bull run by luck. But the money I used was actually from a 401k from a job I had previous, like years before, like 8 years before that had just been sitting there. I didn't even know about it. And I got a letter in the mail and I was like, there's like $5,000 here. I was like, okay. So I put that in crypto. And then when we started getting like the stimulus checks and like triple P loans and things like that, I was able to put more of my income into that. So I haven't even spent any of those stimulus checks. It's all in crypto. And that's kind of what I started with. And then I've just been investing I just bought more crypto today, actually. So it's like just when I watch the different things going on in the charts, like doing technical analysis, I'll just look at certain points where I think, the next price point is going to touch on a low end, and I'll start putting buy-in orders there. And I've been getting really good at doing that. So
That's good.
just getting, buying it is pretty much close to as low as you can for whatever, time frame we're in. But long term, man, if you just literally keep stacking up good cryptos and take profits during bull runs and are not greedy, it's good. It's great. It's a great return. It's worth the wait, worth the time.
Did you start off like with Cloud9 and branch out doing your own little other side hustles, or like did you start off with Cloud9 and music? How did that
Well, I was doing music
evolve?
and then opened Cloud9. So I kind of scaled back on personally doing the music as far as like performing and all that. And then, like, you were asking if I went into crypto after that?
Yeah,
Or,
so like did you like start off with Cloud9 at right after your music and then like
oh, yeah,
get
another
into
side
like
hustles. One
yeah.
that came to mind is me and a friend of mine, he went by Dirty Lopez. Me and him used to hustle all the merch with Brass Knuckle Entertainment. And then when I opened Cloud9 a couple years in, he landed us a meeting with the owners of Penthouse or the GM of Penthouse in Denver to do hookah catering. And so we went up there and just pitched them our deal, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take it. Let's do it." And so we started catering hookah at the strip club up there at Penthouse,
Oh, how was that?
and it was dope, man. It was cool. Like,
How were the
obviously,
ladies?
it was cool, man. It's like a party vibe. You know how it is. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, strippers are kind of a whole nother world to deal with, just because of what they've been through in life. But that's what I've learned in the process of working in those
That's
places.
funny.
Yeah, it is weird.
Or sad.
Yeah, to me, it's a L to me. It's not a
An
win,
L.
bro. Like, because they're so beautiful and attractive and
Are you single
sexual. But
or
yeah, I
married?
am single.
Yeah.
Yeah, these girls don't be treating good men right, but they'll go on complain about us online. But anyway, like, it was cool because we got that gig, and then we created Facebook pages and started building a little business around it, and then we landed Platinum 84. The owner hit us up on Facebook, so we went up there and pitched them, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we're doing Penthouse and Platinum 84. And then we hit the owner of this guy named AB, he's a big figure with the 303 like fashion world and the 303 magazine. He owns it, and he does the 303 pool parties, and he asked us to do hookah there because he's a hookah fan. So we ended up getting some acrylic hookahs so we could have them by the pool. And that was like the deal breaker because he's like, "Yeah, we can't have glass by the pool," because we're like, "Yo, we really want to do these parties and stuff." And he's like, "No, we can't." So I was like, "What if I get acrylic hookahs?" He's like, "Oh yeah, cool, let's do that." I was like, "They're shatterproof." So we ended up landing that and did the 5303 pool parties through the summer. Now we just started expanding, and things were going pretty good for a while.
So you've
But
kind of been a hustler throughout your whole life, huh?
yeah, man, I'm an opportunist for sure. Like, I look for opportunities, and that's how I even got into the Cloud9. Is like I was saving money working a job at a call center that I hated and was miserable at. But for 2 years, I saved up like 20 bands just off a commission out of that job, and then put some into getting the franchise to open the lounge with a partner. And then, that opportunity came to me too, just through a friend. So, like I said, a lot of like if you see the pattern, it's kind of like in music, a lot of opportunities came and a lot of demand like came from, I think, just my presence being there and wanting things to be well and like wanting things to be a dope experience, pretty much.
When did that start? Like, what age were you when you figured out like that was what you wanted to do? You wanted to be a hustler.
I don't know, man. I feel like it was just always imprinted in my mind since a child. Like my father's from Harlem, New York, and the Harlem Hustlers is like a saying out there, and I've always heard that since a kid. My
I've never
dad,
heard that slang
yeah, it's
or
old
saying,
stuff. It's old stuff, like back
but that's
80s,
pretty
90s shit.
catchy.
Yeah, Harlem Hustlers. And so like my pops was like a coach of our team when I was like in third grade or something, and he called us the Houston Hustlers because our last name is Houston. And so he's like, "Yo, it's the Houston Hustlers." And so, I've always had a mindset. My mother's from New Mexico, and she grew up in a farm type environment with like 9 siblings, and they worked hard and were taught to do chores every day. And so I think just a lot of the
That's
example
where
of
you
my
grew up.
parents, well, that's where my mom grew up.
Oh, your mom. Okay.
Yeah, so I think just having the influence of that in my mind and watching all these movies that, and especially in rap, like Paid in Full or Belly or all these old classic hood movies, there's just dudes hustling, getting money, living a cool life. And like I've even lived like that before, and hustled before. And it's like, but there's not a lot of satisfaction in some of the aspects of it where it's portrayed in movies. But hustling to me, you know, it's like it's you creating your life. You know what I'm saying? How hard do you want to work for that?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like worth every hour of my day to create. And
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're
you know what
saying.
I'm
Yeah, how did you grow up? How did that look like for you?
It was pretty strict and sheltered, honestly, man. My mom was super hardcore Christian, and she kind of led my dad into the Christian ideas and faith and stuff, and helped bring more like order to his life, you know, because he was growing up in the ghetto and like living, you know, that kind of life. And she helped show him like, you know, what a family is, and that's what I got as an example of a family. So it helped me kind of see like desire that, you know. But today, in this day and time, I don't see that even being a near possibility sometimes with the way a lot of the people are programmed to believe all this, whatever, you know, instead of here's things that are beneficial and good for your life, because they don't even have that example. Like I saw my mom and dad do like literally love each other till death do they part, you know, because my mom had passed from cancer in 2010. So it's like to see that and then see another family that my mom was friends with. Her friend at the bank, her husband left her when she got cancer, you know, and I'm like, to see those two different things, I'm like, I know which one I would rather have, you know. So that example and those ideas kind of shaped my mind, being in the military family, you know, proud of your country and all this stuff they teach you. And then to growing up and reading books like Behold a Pale Horse that talks about secret organizations and the corruption in the government and the world and the darker side of the world, and to meeting Immortal Technique. You know what I mean? Think about how much my consciousness would shift going through from that to that. So it's kind of like breaking out of a bubble. But yeah, I was raised in that, like, and then that put me on to really studying religions, not just Christianity, every aspect of every text and scripture and teaching that I could possibly get my hands on to understand that there's a bigger idea to enlightenment and connection with the Creator, you know. So
Yeah.
there's things like that that have really shifted huge in my life.
Did you grow up in Pueblo?
No, I grew up, we lived, like I said, we lived in like Florida for a few years when I was very young. Then Germany when it was like significant time, like age to like maybe age 12. You know, and when you're a boy, that's like, as in like significant in shaping my perspective of the world or changing it.
What time was that? What time frame?
It was like till like,
Or what year I should ask.
it was back in like 90.
What was going on with Germany back in the 90s?
They were doing like Desert Storm and Desert Shield in the Middle East.
Oh,
So
okay.
they were stocking
They were
up their
connected
people.
somehow?
Yeah, because the air base we were on was even on alert during some of the time. You know, where my dad was in he was in the fire department. Fire
Oh,
protection.
really? Holy shit.
So like when the jets would come in, they'd ride out if they crashed or something and put out like the jet fuel fires and
That's
stuff.
sick as fuck.
So yeah, like when he was there, they even were training the firefighters with firearms. Like they were giving them retraining on like AKs and like ARs or whatever they had to be prepared in case the base was attacked in Germany because of what was going on in the Middle East. Or in case they had to bring more guys to the Middle East, they'd be trained with weapons, you know, if they had to be on the FOBs or whatever on the bases there. And so like, yeah, we saw like that. The Berlin Wall came down while we were in Germany. So that was a huge piece of history. And like we got, our neighbors brought like a piece of the wall and stuff it still had like graffiti on it from Berlin. So it was
How
like,
old were you?
I was like 10, 11,
You and
12.
your brother?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
So it was awesome, man, like getting to go see real castles at that age because they're still standing and they do tours. You know, like it's like when I watch Game of Thrones or something, it always reminds me of Germany for some reason because all those castles, and I've been in places that look like some of those castles. You know, so it's kind of like that was a whole different experience just being overseas. And I feel like it gave me a different perspective than the general American mentality that we get being American, because it's like we're taught America's the greatest and all this stuff, you know. But when I went to other countries, I was like, what is so much greater about America than this place that was a fantasy world that I felt like I lived in as a child. We had a black forest behind our house that we would go play in and build forts and like do fun shit as a kid and, you know, ride dirt bikes and shit. And it's like, I mean, you can do that here, but it's like there's a castle over there too. And then there's ruins from World War II in Trier, which is only like a couple hours from us.
Yeah,
you
man,
know?
it's cool as shit.
Yeah, it was amazing. And like the older I got, the more I appreciated it because I didn't realize when I was that young how unique of an experience that was. and it was just mainly because my pops was in the military. Like we wouldn't be able to afford to do that.
What's your last name?
Houston.
Houston?
Yeah. Spelled like the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But I don't know if I'm related to Whitney Houston. So.
Whitney Houston, wow, that's crazy. Wow.
But yeah, man.
That was back in the 90s, right? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you transfer or switch to the U.S.?
We got here like around 91, 92, I think. So it was like like maybe even 87 or 89 to like 88 to like 91 or 2. It was around that time. And then we came to Colorado Springs and lived on a ranch with my aunt and uncle out in Peyton, Colorado. So for 2 years, we got to see what it was like to live on a ranch, like with farm animals and stuff like that. So
how was that?
it was cool, man. It was different. It was like watching a movie. Again, it was like being in a movie. Like we're out in the middle of pretty much nowhere. There wasn't people living close to us. And there was like this butte. There was like a butte, kind of like a short mountain, basically, that we could go hike up. And you could see back to Colorado Springs. Like you could see Pikes Peak from there.
Oh, nice.
And so it was just cool, man. Like we learned more discipline. Like you wake up and you do chores and you handle the business on the farm first, every morning. So that taught us a different perspective of life as young men.
I bet a work ethic too, you know?
Yeah, that too. Seeing my uncle, watching my dad get up every day at like 4 a.m. to go to work. With the military, it teaches you like, it gives you a good example of like how if you need to grind, like just get it, go. Like if you don't sleep or shower for a little bit, just keep going. But
yeah,
get it done, and setting your priorities right. It gives you those kind of aspects for sure. Yeah.
That's a good perspective. I've never grown up on a ranch or anything. I've had relatives on a ranch, but I've never like grown up on a ranch. I did, wildland firefighting, but that's like, it's out in the country, but I never like ranch or anything like that.
Yeah.
But with kind of forgot my train of thought real quick. No, let's go back. I want to bring it back real quick. Just kind of take it a little rewind shit. Yeah. Take a little chill pill real quick. Just go into our week. How was your week?
My week has been a blur, man. Like, I don't know, because I work every single day, 7 days a week. It's hard for me to even picture a week anymore in my mind, because it's like, I know what I did, but it's like, there's so many things going, I just could get them done and then I forget about them because I'm on to the next thing I'm focusing on. But it's been a good, busy, productive week. I've been just going hard. Like I said, the last 2 nights we had some after hours events where people came late till like 4:30 in the morning just to make some extra income, and just been trying to stay on top of the plans, I have for this year for sure, and start expanding to where I can plan further into the future.
What are some of your New Year's resolutions or like goals you have? You have a whiteboard like set up in your house that you just kind of keep track of?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it has like mainly the dates for the events that I'm a part of. The ones I'm planning for the Cloud9, and then the ones I'm doing with Derek for like the Back to the People Festival and a few small artist showcases on the way to that. Because that's going to deal with us like landing sponsors. We're going to book a national act this year. So it's like we can attract more attention and bigger sponsors and just bigger opportunity in general. So I've been, there's a lot to that, like writing up your pitches and what the deal is for the sponsors, and there's so much detail into that. I just been really trying to keep focused on the dates of things and how much what exactly I need to get done with those dates before they come. Having the marketing material ready, the tickets, the stuff we're going to post on social media and all that. It's a lot to organize. Plus, I'm running Cloud9 by myself because the pandemic kind of really hurt the business, especially when they made tobacco 21 and up. That cut our customer base in half right there. So it's like I've been doing some more creative things. Like when you're an entrepreneur and things like that happen, you just have to get more creative, and it kind of helps you grow and expand. Yeah. And
how creative have you gotten? So what kind of struggles did you face during the pandemic that made you get creative?
Well, they're like saying we had to close, for 3 months or so. And I know it's
Did you have enough money stocked up to survive those 3 months?
Not for the business, because the business is like you're putting the money that you're reinvesting, obviously, like the money to get your supplies and operations to keep them going. And the thing is, there's not profit being made when they shut your business down. And I have 2 daughters, so I have to pay child support. So I was in a really tight spot where they're like, you can't open your business, which was at the time my main stream of income, and you have to continue paying this child support. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are you saying? I got to just do what I got to do. So I just did what I had to do. And that stuff I can't really say on here because it could be an issue. Not like a major issue, but,
No, you're right.
it could
I
be.
wasn't thinking. Yeah.
But I know this is the thing, though. There's a lot of businesses, and I found this after COVID, that did the same thing, and they're the ones that are still open.
Did what?
I can't say
Oh,
technically,
okay.
but they
Gotcha.
did what they had to do to make income. What I did, just on the side of what I can really talk about, is I really pushed curbside pickup and online sales because everyone's stuck in their house. I'm like, you can still pick up shisha. I changed my hours and just modified some things. But I also was working as a bud tender because when I work jobs, I like to work the ones that I was working was to learn something. And at the time, I was planning with another partner of mine to open a business called Pleasantries that was going to be like a cannabis lounge where you can actually buy small amounts of cannabis, like dabs, weed, whatever, and you have to consume it there. Kind of like when you go to the bar to do shots and have a beer, but you go to the dispensary to get like bulk, or you go to the liquor store to get like bottles. It's similar, like you have the liquor store and the dispensary, and then you have the bar and then the smoking lounges. We were trying to open one of those, but they're kind of lacking on the allowing people to use the license because it's here now. So during that, we were trying to get that going, and it just makes it like, I was trying to see where I was going with that, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's just
The licenses and it's making it hard.
they wouldn't. Yeah, there was no way to open that business. So, like when I was back in the day doing the cannabis events, they made a city moratorium against it. And we had to stop doing that. And so when the pandemic happened, you have to close down your business. It was like the same thing over again. So I was learning, this is what I meant to say, is when I was working as a dispensary, I was working as a bud tender to learn like the compliance and be in the business to see what it's like when you're managing the cannabis side of things in case we were able to open that Pleasantries business. Then I could be like, well, I've already worked in the industry. I have experience with compliance, et cetera, et cetera. I've had a tobacco license and been in compliance for 10 plus, whatever, 8, 10 years at the time. So that's what I meant. Like I was going to work jobs to learn things that I could use for my businesses.
Oh, okay.
But I also made good money doing it too because I was like the highest paid tipped person in the job.
Nice.
Me and my homie Chase were like the main dudes getting most of the tips.
Good.
And so it was like a cool experience too because it helped me kind of build how you interact with people who are coming to buy cannabis. So I could train my employees when I open this other business theoretically, how to do that kind of stuff.
Are you thinking about still opening that adventure in the near future?
Yes, and that's part of why I've kept Cloud9 open because it's already an indoor smoking facility. We're free from the Clean Indoor Air Act, which bans indoor smoking. So it's like we already have steps ahead, and it's like it'd be easier to transition into that kind of license than, to try to go find a new location right now with real estate being so crazy. And especially in Colorado, the prices are ridiculous everywhere. So, those things are still in play, but when you're waiting on the government, you just can't wait. You just got to keep doing other things because that may never come, or Pueblo may never allow it. So it's like I'm looking for where they will allow it and then apply the process of the business plan we have to that market.
Okay, so would you still do it here in Pueblo?
It depends. If it was okay, yeah, it'd be a great market for that because we have so many recreational dispensaries here. Like Springs is mostly, like medical, so there wouldn't necessarily be the best place unless Springs allows the smoking lounges. Then it'd be a great place for it because there's no recreational dispensaries, but they can go to these lounges and get recreational weed. So that would actually be an advantage. So yeah, it depends on the market, but if they allow the licenses, I'd evaluate the market and what their stipulations and rules are, and then see what my business model, how it would work best there, and get it going.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What kind of plans do you have going on for your music?
Well, when my homie drops that Stevie Stone song, I plan on just kind of utilizing any kind of like buzz that's built off that to direct the people who see my name on the song and are like, oh, who's this dude? If they hear, and they like the part that I'm on, like to direct them to more of my music pretty much. you know.
I gotcha.
But it's all mutual. Like my homie who's putting the song out, I'm gonna help promote the song, which helps promote his music and his studio and his business. And then my name's on it, so it helps promote me. Stevie Stone's on the hook, which is a huge name, which helps promote all of us. So it's like that's why collabing with the artists is a good thing to do, you know. And I'm not in it because I want to be like, oh, look at me as an artist, ATP, check me out. I'm the shit. It's like I want to make an influence on people. If my music can do that, great. If the businesses I do can do that, great. You know, I'm gonna push those things because I want to influence people for the good, you know, and the positive, and not, you know, all this bullshit that's going on in the world.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world.
Yeah, and a lot of people are just like accepting of it. So, you know, it helps give more power to that.
I see what you're saying. Is Stevie Stone in Springs, or what's he doing?
He was formerly signed to Strange Music, you know, Tech9's label. I don't know who he's on now. But yeah, he's a big name. Like he makes some bangers, yo. Like his shit's really aggressive and like energizing music. You know?
I see he's in Springs pretty often. What's going on with
he works
that?
closely with my brother, actually, man. Like he just did an interview with Stevie Stone where he was spitting bars on an interview, and so I was like, yo, like that one because that'll help promote him.
Yeah,
so when we drop the shit,
sweet.
You know, it all plays together. It's weird. But yeah, he's in Springs a lot because my brother works with him closely because he's been working with Strange for so long. He's been like in music videos with like Chris Calico and like some of the other artists that are like right next to Tech. He actually just interviewed Tech9 like last week.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw the post. Yeah, that shit blew up too. So yeah, man, they're on some good shit, man. They just got good positive vibes.
They do.
Yeah.
Have you met these guys through the process when you were working with your brother? Like the guys working with Strange?
Yeah, I've met them. I've met like Tech9 and like Travis because they run their shit like a military. Like they'll round everybody up at the venue like, yo, meeting. Here's what's not going to happen tonight. Here's what we are going to do tonight. Everybody break. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. You know, it's very well put together. And I learned a lot from watching how Travis and Strange Music operate and how they help Tech9. And I applied that to how I would help my brother. And then I saw even Strange Music take some techniques that me and my buddy Lopez did for selling merch. You know, so they saw some of the shit we were doing that was on a good level, and I saw them. You know, they started doing. I saw some of their merch guys doing the same shit me and Lopez did. So yeah, it's been dope, man. A funny story about that is when we followed the tour to Utah years ago, at Salt Lake City. Me and my homie Lopez were selling so much merch in the parking lot that Travis was like, he came out and he's like, yo, y'all got to stop selling merch, man. Like, my guys on the tour aren't eating right now. Like, no one's buying their merch. They're buying it all out here in the parking lot and shit. And so the next year we saw them with their guys with their Strange Music bags doing the same shit me and Lopez were doing, like just hitting people right away, sitting there talking with them, chopping it up, making a friend, and, you know, getting their support for our music. Not trying to be like, yo, buy this shit, I'm the shit. It's like, nah, man, we're doing this shit for Colorado. Like, we're independent artists. You know, this is good shit, good quality music. Like, you know, we're out here, and a lot of people would support that way. So
has that helped you with building new connections and relationships with other people, like your communication skills and your networking abilities?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it takes a lot, like when you're like in your ego or whatever, to just be like, you know what, tonight I'm gonna go talk to everybody in this venue, and then by the time I did, I would have sold. Yeah, but once you get through like a few thousand people, it's just natural to you. You know, it just comes normal. You could just meet people and just interact. And it was dope, man, because that's how we sold more merch than most of the other artists that were doing what we were doing, or competitors, you know, because they weren't willing to go and take the time to talk to people and make a friend. They're just like, I'm here to show off, be on stage, and you should like my shit because of that. But in reality, man, it's like the people will fuck with you more if, you know, you're real with them and like make a good impression with them. So yeah, it definitely helped with that for long term.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's pretty sweet. Do you feel comfortable like spitting a few bars real quick, like a few lyrics?
Like some acapella shit?
Yeah, some acapella shit. Like some all right, let me like some motivational, some like something related to the podcast, maybe some scenery if you can pick out anything. Any topics we're talking about, like anything?
Yeah, I mean, I could spit some shit.
Do you need a beat? Is that what it is?
No, I don't have to.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, let's see. I mean, I don't know. I'll just do some shit.
Okay.
And this is
do like a like a countdown, or is there anything?
No,
I
I'll
can
just do like a double time. It's just on a song called Hurt Pockets.
Okay.
And it's on Spotify under ArtayThaPartay is the artist name, if y'all want to check it out. But it's like some chopper shit.
All right.
All right, so it's like, you son of a bitches are never sharing the riches. No, I deserve a double digit with a couple commas next to it. Big hitter, big money stack, get a trigger man, a handler, you couldn't hold a can of to him. While you motherfuckers running for the crown when you caught up in the system of a down. However, Trigger would do his in Rome and he left him in ruins. A castle was burned to the ground. I'm another minority with a lot of authority. To holla fuck the police, you ought to follow the orgy. The money meter more to me than when I had to order me a security blanket just to cover all the lawyer fees. You could never say I never paid the cost to be the boss, and you're only gonna take a loss when you double cross the Illuminati body to put the Christ on the cross. A Ricky Ross kind of boss, you know, undercover badge, and they working for the law. Dirty cops on the DL Hewley, and they really need to reach around and wrench it off. I drop a loaf on the game, leaving a permanent stain. They only praying that I'll pinch it off. Now they calling me the head of human centipede. They kissing my ass, and the game been feeding me a lot. I'm all up in the game, now they feeding me the rock. I've been eating all the sushi, now the shit is really raw. Y'all be calling on the so-called powers of be. Now me, I'm handling my family, ain't fucking with the law. You're fucking with the law, man, they fucking up your jaw. Cause you snitching, you're witnessing to everything you saw. You only brown nose around doesn't wanna break your bones for you bitch niggas have a chance to menopause. Pause.
That was good, dude. That was fucking. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. I like that. That was
Hip hop
pretty
in the
fire.
building, yo. For sure, I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. When do you put on that show for with Derek?
The next one is January 28th at Lulu's in Springs, in Manitou Springs. That's a showcase, like a smaller artist showcase. And then July 29th, I think this year I think the Saturday's on the 29th. So it'll be July 29th for the Back to the People Festival.
Are you going to be performing in that?
I don't know, because last year they asked me to headline. Like I said, it was always opportunities brought to me. They're like, yo, do you want to headline this one for us? And I'm like, shit, I guess. I hadn't performed in a minute. So, but I mean, I probably will. I just love to rock with the people and like at least expose some of my music and stuff. And I'm on features with a couple other people, so I might even perform with them. So you never know. But I'm not definite on performing at it. I'm just definite on making sure we structure everything well, landing some good sponsors, and making sure it runs smoothly, just like any other event, and professionally. Yeah. Because that's the small difference that makes a big difference, is just being professional with what you're doing. You know, and a lot of cats in the rap and music game are not professional.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's a lot of newer mainstream rappers that are just like doing it just to kind of make a buck and put their name out there, and it's like they're not good. Yeah. Like all the people with their first name that starts with Little, no bueno, no bueno. But like you hear people like Immortal Technique or like Strange or like Stevie Stone, and I mean I can like Harry Mack started making his name. How do you feel about him?
I mean, is that the homie that be freestyling?
Yeah, and just like
off top.
Yeah, he asks people like words that just kind of threw out, and he just goes.
I've seen some of his videos, man. I think it's dope that he's bringing more attention back to that art form, because that's what I watched my brother Black P do as a young man, like teens. He was like battling all the time, straight off the top. It wasn't pre-writtens, you know, and that's a whole different level of artistry that I always admired. And I like to freestyle too. It's just sometimes I don't like on camera, because I'd be freestyling with my homies and shit, and like I don't mind. It's not hard. It's just like I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, this is my first interview in a minute, so it's like I'm not trying to do too much on that.
No, dude, that was
like,
fire.
But like, yeah, the homies, like, that's what the artistry, the art form of rap off the top of the dome is one of the most raw, pure forms of like artistry.
It is.
You know?
It's poetic.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And it's in the moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's like asking for bullshit. Atonement, you know?
I agree, man. So it seems like music is like top tier, one of the passions you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say, or is that like, is there something that kind of like is right there with music?
As far as like what I enjoy to do, I mean, it's a big part of my life and everybody's life, because it deals with vibration, you know, and that's what this whole third dimension is. So, I mean, I think that's why it becomes so important to a lot of us, especially people who are like aware of that idea. Mm-hmm. It makes it even more of a understanding in you of like why you're passionate about music, or what draws you to it, or, you know, what brings it out of you even.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. So are you more of like a really humble kind of person? Like, where did that point of view come from? How did you like, when did you, like, was it like a learning process, or?
Well, I was always taught, you know, to treat others well, and, you know, like you want to be treated type thing. Mm-hmm. But also I realized, after diving deeper that, each of us are in a human body having a human experience. There's no thing to say one life expression is more important than another.
Mm-hmm.
So I just treat life expression with respect. And, the only time that something, needs to happen on another scale is like if something's threatening your life, then you defend yourself to the death if necessary. But other than that, it should just be expressing life and promoting and magnifying life expression. So that, to me, I guess it seems humble, when, but I think it's just a realization of what it is. Like, there's no reason to think one human's better than another because of the things they do in their human experience. Because every day we wake up and we take that first, we wake up and we're breathing. That's the biggest achievement you need to make that day, is to first be an expression of life. And then you decide what are you going to do with that life, this life energy and force we have to work with and to experience. So, I mean, it's not hard to be humble in that way, but I understand, the opposite of humility, because we're in an ego as well that people think they are, and that identity, they think they have to keep it up because they think it's them. And so then it's hard for them to be humble. But I don't know, man. I definitely take a humble approach. But you got to be confident too. Some people take confidence as like you're not being humble. But in reality, if you're going boldly towards what you want in life, you have to have confidence, and otherwise it won't manifest. So. But yeah, definitely.
I know what you're saying.
Keep your head down, keep grinding, and if you look up, not necessarily keep your head down, but like, I like to keep my things private and keep working and building on my stuff, so there's not people that can like interfere, detract from it. And I always just, keep my mind on the creator and what I'm supposed to express.
I like that point of view. That's
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna go ahead and just end it off right there and get on.
No, I got
yeah.
dip soon.
Yeah. So if you this has been the Ambitious Writers Podcast, and I have my guest right here, ArtayThaPartay. You can find him on Spotify, right? A few videos on YouTube. He owns Cloud9 right here. Go check out Cloud9 and go check out what he's doing with his music, because big things are coming. You can go smoke some fire tobacco out of a hookah. You ever seen that hookah, that little snail, that worm from Alice in Wonderland, was it?
Yep.
Speaking of that,
caterpillar.
You got the caterpillar in your lounge, right?
Yeah.
What can get more chill than that? Pool?
Come smoke with the caterpillar.
Psh, work on your pool game, bring some buddies. Cloud9 right there. ArtayThaPartay. And again, the Ambitious Writers Podcast, episode 10. Tune in for episode 11 and more to come.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep. Subscribe. Anything you want to say? I totally forgot.
No, I just want to say thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it. It's been a great time. I enjoy the experience. And smash the like button, share, subscribe. Support independent people that are, making moves and trying to do something good in this world. And other than that, love yourselves, yo. Take great care of yourself, for real, and focus on you.
That's right. Focus. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
Peace out, y'all.